these next two maps, we don't need to look too much at them, but they're not actually maps. They're what's called a chart. Right? Now, a chart is going to be a good quiz question with this as well. Also, USGS, what that stands for and what they do. Good. So a chart is going to be, when we're talking about maps, a chart is going to be showing us not the elevation, not elevation going up, but it's going to be showing us depth. Now, here's another good quiz question. When we're talking about how deep water goes, we call that bathymetry. Bathymetry, like the bathtub, right? And so we've got contour lines or elevation, and then we've got bathymetry going down. And charts show bathymetry. Now, long before I ever came around, my dad scuba dived. And when our siblings, we think about our old dad scuba diving, it's kind of surprising, but yeah, he would scuba dive. And so here's a map. It is by the Coast Guard. And this is Point Doom to Parisima Point, okay? And so Point Doom, Point Doom's down over here, and Parisima Point is right there. So this is going to be Santa Barbara, okay? I grew up in Ventura County, which is over here. But then, like when we would go to the beach, the great big mystery would be, it wants to roll up, would be those islands that were off the coast. And when I got a little bit older, I actually got to go out to there. So like a clump of trees. It doesn't give us too much detail about the actual island, but it does show us the depth of the water all the way around there. So Santa Cruz and Anacapa, Santa Rosa, San Miguel. When you're going to college in Santa Barbara, you see those islands every day. And so it's really, really cool. The next one I have is basically the next chunk down, right? So San Diego to Santa Rosa Island. So I've got Catalina and Santa Cruz. My dad would use these when he'd go out snorkeling or scuba diving. Apparently he was president of the Tortuga Club. And so we would always make fun of him for that. And so anyway, some neat maps that are heirlooms even. I think my dad had the same love for maps. Passed away a few years ago. And he also had a love for teaching, but he never taught geography. He just inspired me too. So anyway, okay, so these next two ones, the next three are all by the U.S. Geological Survey. Okay, same USGS maps, but these two are called 15-minute maps. Okay, and that means that the width across them is going to be covering not degrees but minutes, 15 minutes from side to side, and 15 minutes north to south. And we'll explore those more as we get into the class. So anyway, the scale on this guy is 1 to 62,500. Sometimes I have to say the whole word. 62,500. Okay? Basically, it's showing a greater area. Everything is zoomed out a little bit more, so we get less detail on a map like this. Okay? So the more zoomed in you are, okay, the smaller that second number will be. Okay, so the 1 to 24,000, we're zoomed in a little bit more. The 6,250, we're zoomed out a little bit more. The 250,000 that we're going to get to on this one, we're zoomed out even further. So, benefit, we get more area covered on the map. So if you're carrying maps, you carry less maps, but you don't get as much detail. Anyway, so this one is right there in Arizona, northern Arizona, and it's going to be part of the Grand Canyon. Okay? So our Colorado Gorge goes right through the middle here. We can see all those contour lines. We'll talk more about the contours as we move forward, but we see some areas where those contour lines are very, very close to each other, and those contour lines really, really close are going to be where it's very, very steep. The change in elevation is happening quickly, so those lines are going to be happening more frequently. Other places where it's going to be a little bit more gradual. Out here, we've got the different colors, right? And so they're standardized. The U.S. Geological Survey maps, almost all of them are standardized with the different colors and other things that they're going to be using. So anyway, this is what I love. I've got two maps that cover the same area. This one's going to be the contour map, right? But this guy is what we call a shaded relief. Now, when I discovered how to make these in the map making software, it was really, really exciting because they're cool, right? And they go through and they show our different elevation of places, but not with those same contour lines. It's as if we're flying over. Now, here's the wonky thing that they do with these shaded relief maps. Okay, this one's also made by US Geological Survey. Shaded relief, that sounds like a good quiz question too, so we'll get a few put in there. Great. So what they do is they put this as if it were an artificial light on top of there. Then here's the funny thing. That artificial light, if you look at this, it's as if it's coming in from this direction because this side of the hill is illuminated and this one is in the shadows. But this is in the northern hemisphere and the sun never is going to be shining on these surfaces from the north. So they actually put the light in the wrong spot because if they put it in the regular spot, it does something weird with our eyes and our brains. It makes it look like it's sinking in. And although the Grand Canyon is sinking in, that's not what they're trying to portray. So they have this artificial light that comes in that they're trying to make that look a certain way. You can see this plateau where it's pretty flat there and pretty flat through here, and then that Columbia River, or not the Columbia River, the Colorado Gorge eating its way through and creating the Grand Canyon. Okay, so both of those guys also made by the US Geological Survey. Next, what do we got next? Oh, this one I think is the last one. Now, it doesn't mean that it's the greatest or that I love it more than any of the others. This is just another way that I started to come to love maps. Now, I've taped, maybe it was even Dad that taped both of these guys together, but it basically goes through and it's all of Southern California. This is made by the US Geological Survey. It is a 1 to 250,000 map. So again, we're zoomed way out. So we see a big area on the one map, but without as much detail. Okay, so we've got Santa Barbara there, Ventura there, Santa Paula, Thousand Oaks, Simi Valley. Back when these maps were made, again, another cool thing about these maps is the historical context that are in them. But Simi Valley, not even in the yellow. And we do have Santa Cruz Island, even off the coast. Keeps on going to Los Angeles, Pasadena, that's where my grandma lived. And then we've got the San Gabriel Mountains, the San Bernardino Mountains. When I graduated, I went and lived near Lake Arrowhead and worked down in Redlands. Anyway, my entire childhood is here on this map. Right? And I love the idea that they're all glued together. You can see the little reference map here even better, right? So there's the Los Angeles one. There's the San Bernardino one. I could get that little guy that would cover probably some of the islands and just a little bit and just continue and get like all of Southern California. My love for maps has kind of translated into a love for GIS. Data GIS is the software that we use, and we'll talk more about that. The software that we use for our map making, and so the data that goes into that, I've got a huge collection of that data, which stores on a little drive, which is much easier than maps tucked in every corner. When I first got married, my wife realized that something was wrong because we had this tiny little house, and in my closet I had like this tube of maps kind of stuck back in the corner. So anyway, I'm glad that I was able to share some of my favorite maps with you. If you have any maps that you really appreciate or that you love or that have any significance for you, I would love for you to send those to me, to share those with me. Maybe we'll put together a little discussion post where we can kind of share that love. Great, thank you so much.